welcome back to Heather Mac Reacts. Today we're going through some more Am I the Devil pose, and if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I post 4 times a week. Now, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into this first video. This says, am I the a-hole for not acting impressed by my wife's accomplishment? Everyone, can we give him an answer before we start this video? Before we start this post? Yes, you're the a-hole. If your wife is accomplishing something, yes, you should act impressed, okay? At the very least, act impressed, even if you're so dead inside that you're not actually impressed. Let's see what they have to say. Me, 28 male, my wife, 26 female, and I have been married for close to 7 years. We currently have 5 kids together, 6 male, 4 male, 3 female, and my wife gave birth to fraternal twins, son and daughter, a year and a half ago. My wife intended to graduate high school the year we got married, but life got in the way. My dad had given me an investor relations type of role at his company, so we were traveling a lot, and then after that, our kids needed our attention. After our twins were born, my wife was bedridden for longer than we and even the doctors expected. Since we had to hire extra hands to do the childcare tasks that involved mobility, my wife had some time on her hands. Her mother told her that her friend, who proctors at a testing center, said that they give GED tests basically every week, at least across the state of Idaho, and that she should dust off her general education knowledge. She started browsing her laptop and decided to enroll in a GED prep class online. It seems she was better at self-paced learning than classroom learning because the stuff they were testing her on came way easier to her now than it did then, even though she's been away from a structured classroom instruction for many years now. Even after she was back on her feet, she'd been studying for it after she dropped the older 2 off to their respective schools. I would see what she was studying and it looked pretty rudimentary. And I knew that getting a GED basically means nothing and that she probably wouldn't be able to apply it to anything career-wise or commit full-time to community college, where I doubt the job prospects for students are that great right now either. Well, aren't you just a ray of sunshine? So glad we have you on our team. So my wife ended up taking the test, and the other day she bounded into the room and said, "Yes, I passed. I knew she would since she was doing well on the practice test and the GED consistently tests on the same rudimentary topics." There you go, using that big $5 word again. I did not gripe at her, but merely nodded at her and went back to answering an important email from a client. My wife seemed to get upset and I asked her what was wrong. She said I didn't seem that excited, and I said that it's great that she passed, but I have been telling her that it was easy and no big deal. But if she needed something to prove to herself she knew the high school concepts, I guess the money was well spent. She got even more upset and said she worked very hard and this was the essential building blocks to being able to start a career. Am I the a-hole? My wife passed her GED test, but she wasn't exactly graduating from college and wouldn't be for at least 15 years. I just didn't see any immediate applicability to her test, but I am glad she had something to challenge her while she was coming off being unable to fully care for the kids. Okay, so y'all started having kids right out of high school. She had to drop out of high school to take care of them while you went on to get a career, and now you can't be happy for her that she's started to rebuild her life. You know what? You can just go ahead and bring them in right now.
Because you are a selfish, self-centered a-hole.
Selfish, self-centered, and an a-hole, okay? Because you obviously are not happy about anything that your wife does. You are not in the least excited for her to get out into that world and reach her full potential. To you, she just takes care of the kids. She just keeps the house clean. She just cooks the dinners. That's lovely. And she's had to deal with you for 7 years. I bet it won't be 7 more years. Just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments, and let's move on because this guy is disgusting. Am I the a-hole for asking a person with a handicap parking tag to not park in a regular parking spot? Why does everyone think they're the boss of everything? I would really like to know. My wife and I went to a popular restaurant in our city yesterday. It was very crowded and there was no parking. My wife was driving and she told me to go put our name into the hostess while she drove around looking for parking. I did that and then came out to see if she could park. She still hadn't, and a few cars were circling around waiting for spots to open. I saw a car getting ready to leave a primo spot, and the only car between this spot and my wife was a car with a handicap tag on the mirror who had just pulled into the parking spot. I assumed they were going to use one of the open handicap spots, so I excitedly signaled to my wife and she was ready. However, the other vehicle passed 3 open handicap spots and parked in a regular spot. I was standing right in front of the car and quickly said to the older lady driver, I see you have a disabled tag. Would you mind taking one of the reserved spots? And she said that if there's a close non-reserved spot, she prefers to use that and leave the disabled spots open in case someone else needs it. So I said, okay, well in this case, there's a shortage of regular spots and several open disabled spots that no one else can use but you. She grumpily said, now you know how we feel. Anyway, I'm parked now, aren't I? Then she went into the restaurant. I ended up getting back in the car and we parked at a supermarket like 2 blocks away and walked to the restaurant. Our table still wasn't ready or anything, but it was pretty cold outside. I thought it was pretty rude of the lady to take a spot when she had several disabled spots open to her. Okay, let me be honest. If I was that lady and there were multiple open handicap spots and no open regular spots, I would have taken a handicap spot. I mean, it's not like you're taking the last handicap spot. You were taking a handicap spot. However, this guy is the a-hole because who do you think you are telling people where they can or cannot park? Who do you really think you are? You really had the nerve to walk up to this lady and tell her that she should park somewhere else? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? This story is ridiculous. I want to know what you think about that one in the comments. Let's move on because if I roll my eyes anymore, they make it stuck that way. Okay, next. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my brother to my wedding because of his grossness? That's pretty harsh. Okay, let's see what they have to say. I, 26 female, am getting married soon and have a brother, 25 male. My brother takes seasonal work at a large farming operation near here for part of the year. I don't know much about it besides they do goat breeding and have tons of pigs and chickens. He says he takes it because the pay is more than double of what he would make elsewhere. I try to tell him that there's a reason they have to pay that much, because it ruins your social life and makes you impossible to be around. He seems to think it's worth it. He's done it 5 years in a row now, but I try to avoid him for that part of the year. Well, our wedding plans happen to fall within that part of the year, and honestly, the thought of him coming to the wedding, reeking and offending the other guests is very embarrassing, so I decided not to invite him. When he found out, he was very hurt, and I explained that I felt like I had no choice. I know it's inconvenient, but I've tried telling you that that job makes you impossible to invite to things, but you don't listen. He said he could have tried to get a week off beforehand, but honestly, I think it takes more than a week for the smell to go away. And besides, I knew that they don't really allow much time off during the busy season. He asked if I couldn't have just scheduled the wedding during the time of year he wouldn't have farm work, but I don't feel like I can or should have to plan my life around him. This is what worked for us, but he's pretty upset he didn't get a warning. Am I the a-hole? Yeah. I don't know. This one is actually a little bit dicey. Okay, you definitely should have spoken to your brother beforehand. So yes, I will say that you were the a-hole in that respect. You should have sat him down, had a conversation, and been like, listen, this stankness cannot fly at my wedding. So you either need to like deep clean your body and your pores and like detoxify, or like you can't come to this formal event where you're gonna be like stinking up the place. But it was probably uncomfortable of a conversation, so you didn't do it, you just didn't invite him. Yeah, you're definitely the a-hole. I don't think you're the a-hole for not wanting him to be there. Like if he's gonna smell like goats and pigs and chickens, I wouldn't want a farm or a petting zoo at my wedding either. But you definitely should have had the conversation with him, and you're definitely an a-hole for not doing that. Okay, that's what I have to think of that one. I want to know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget, we have a playlist of over 70 Am I the a-hole videos up here for you to binge whenever. Please don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.